Now we have totally dedicated to prelims part topics because they were in news. It's like places in news. And as this Sea of Galilee, our External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar visited Israel ahead of the 30th anniversary of the establishment of formal diplomatic relations between India and Israel. So between India and Israel, diplomatic relations started in 1992, and hence it is basically the 30th anniversary. So it is a great source of this celebration between these two countries, because Israel is important for India for the scientific contributions and technology related aspects, right? Because Israel is great in the technological advancements, especially in the defense designing, right? And hence India is taking help from the Israel in many sectors like the scientific innovation, technological innovations, especially having applications in the defense areas. So now within this context, this Sea of Galilee, actually it was visited by the External Affairs Minister. So the location of the Sea of Galilee is highly important to know and to understand that where is it and what is the relevance of this place. So what is the Sea of Galilee? It is in the northern Israel. Important for your prelims that it is not in the Mediterranean Sea, it is not in the Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, as these are the adjoining countries of Israel, but it is in the Israel, one of the lowest lying bodies of water in the world. Lowest lying bodies of water in the world, that means that it is basically present in the rift. Rift means it's basically a valley, and here the water is collected, hence it is becoming the lowest lying bodies of water in the world. Has long been a source of religious inspiration and intrigue. It is also along the shores of this shallow freshwater lake. So it is a freshwater lake. So Sea of Galilee, that means sea might confuse you that it could be saline in nature. No, it is not saline in nature. It is a freshwater lake because it is drained by the river, Jordan River. And it is coming from north, from the Lebanon side, and it is going south in the Jordan side to the Dead Sea. It is dropping in, and there are so many underground streams that is contributing water to this low lying depression, that is the drift we have. So hence it is not saline in nature, and since it is encircled, so here it's basically the fresh water availability is there, as it is drained by many freshwater streams, major rivers and underground streams, right? So these two important points, that one, it is in the northern Israel, and second is it is the freshwater lake, right? And here Jesus might have performed some of his ministry and certain miracles according to the legends or the myths or stories. So some underground springs, as I said, drains into the lake, but most of its water arrives through the Jordan River, which flows from Lebanon in the north to Israel and Jordan in the south. So it's basically Lebanon to Israel, and it is going to Jordan, that is Dead Sea. Dead Sea, right? Dead Sea, as you know, that somebody can literally float into it without getting drowned, because it has the highest salt concentration in the world. It is more than 350 I think ppm it is called. Just get checked with the like what is the unit. It's 350. I know as far as this is concerned. The Sea of Galilee, sometimes called Lake Tiberias, Lake Kinneret, lies within the Jordan Rift Valley, part of the Eastern African Rift Valley, a narrow depression that began forming tens of millions of years ago. The Arabian Plate tore away from Africa. For example, if this is Africa, right, and if this is the Arabian Peninsula, right, so this drift which is passing through which is actually pushing away from the African plate, so hence this depression is creating a drift, and here in this low lying depression the water is getting filled from the streams, main streams and the springs of underground area, so hence the fresh water is collecting here. So that is basically the reason behind the Sea of Galilee, and hence you should understand this, because it was Golan Heights asked in 2015, and many a times the boundaries of the countries sharing the Mediterranean Sea has also been asked in UPSC in 2017. So might be the Sea of Galilee might find a question this year, right? Next is Basai wetlands. Wetlands we have extensively covered in our video of 4th Gen, so you can go back and check there the wetlands, what are the relevance of the wetlands, what are the problems with the wetlands, and how we can actually restore our wetlands, right? So the Basai wetlands is in Gurgaon or Gurugram, Haryana, that has shrunk to a quarter of its original size over the years. So that means it is talking about the problem with the wetlands, that why the wetlands are actually getting shrinked. And we discussed that topic because one wetland from Gujarat and the another from UP was added to the Ramsar site, right? And hence taking the wetland numbers in South Asia as highest, or close to 49, right? India has the highest wetlands number as the Ramsar sites in India in the South Asian region, and parallelly we also discussed the Montreux record, right? So you can always go back and check the data about. So what is the relevance of this wetland? It's 300 plus species of rare, common and migratory birds, and it is home to these many species, and it is recognized as a key biodiversity area by the IUCN, Wildlife Institute of India, and BirdLife International, and NGO, right? A global network of NGOs that work to protect bird habitat. So it is important because it is home to more than 300 migratory species, right? So the location is important, that it is in Gurugram in Haryana. All right, now, so what are the problems they have mentioned in here? That the newly laid roads, modern housing constructions, and other infrastructure development, upcoming expressways cutting through the terrain here has majorly impacted the flyway of thousands of migratory birds from Europe and Central Asia. So it's basically the man-made infrastructure, how it is disturbing the natural ecosystem, and what sort of synchronization should be there between the two entities, that is development and environment. We have extensively covered this topic in the environment protection plans, right, as an alternative to the development we have already talked about. Now there's one topic, state mourning. So it is in context to the late Mrs. Lata Mangeshkar, right, whose demise has just happened, and she was the Nightingale of India, and she was also the Bharat Ratna, first from the music field to be awarded as Bharat Ratna, and she died after a brief illness, and she was cremated with state honors. And Lata Mangeshkar ji has also seen first PM to the current PM. This is also one of the great achievements ever seen by an Indian, that she has seen almost all the prime ministers, and she had met all the prime ministers in person, right? As a mark of respect, the Union government announced a 2-day national mourning, while the Maharashtra government has declared a public holiday. This honor is actually is well appreciated, as this gentle lady deserved this honor and lot many more, as the contribution she has made in India's music field and music world, and world remembers India because of people like Lata Mangeshkar. The Rajya Sabha will be adjourned for an hour on Monday morning. So this and this member of House like in the honor of the singer who was a member of Rajya Sabha from 1919 to 2005. 1919 to 2005, she was also the member of Rajya Sabha. So this is important for your. Now, what is this mourning? Observing or declaring a national mourning day is a symbolic gesture to pay tribute and express grief for a national tragedy. Yes, it is a treasure loss for the country. Such days include those marking the death or funeral of a renowned individual or individuals from that country or elsewhere, or the anniversary of such a death or deaths. It is designated by the national government. That means what? The national mourning is it, or state mourning, it is honored or designated by the national government, right? Let me just make some space here, because now the questions from the Indian heritage and culture, drawing attention from the current aspects, as well as we have seen that specifically Bharat Ratna question was appeared in 2021 prelims question papers, specifically by UPSC, which was a very an appearance after so many years of this UPSC exam, because these type of questions used to come before 2010, but in the past decade such natured question did not appear, but again it is making a mark. So that is why we have to discuss such topics in as many details or as much detail as possible. So state governments can also declare state mourning day in their respective states, right? After mourning is declared by Ministry of Home Affairs, following restrictions are observed in all central institutions and organizations. That means national flag. So what happens is, on the day of mourning in India, the national flag will be flown at half-mast throughout the country and in Indian missions abroad. Half-mast. It will not be fully headed. Restrictions on ceremonies and official entertainment. No ceremonial functions will be organized, and there shall be no official entertainment during the period of state mourning. Memorial activities are often organized by people. State funeral is accorded with due respect to the dignitary, and half-day holiday in central government and its institution, it is also allowed, and it is also prescribed. So these are 2 or 3 important aspects which are associated with the national mourning declaration, when a person of such great relevance, such great importance, or cultural legacy has left the world, has left the country, and hence it is a kind gesture from the state and the citizens to pay a great dignity and honor to the demise soul. This is what we can actually do. So we pray, and that we wish her soul to be rest in peace, and we wish her a great life, if there was any life in the next time to come. So next is Bru Riang refugees. So what is this Bru Riang refugees? It is just a reference. We will be talking about that in 1997, the murder of a Mizo forest guard allegedly by Bru, or also known as the Riangs. Bru is also coffee, so don't get confused between coffee and tribe. Militants led to a violent backlash against the community and forcing several thousands of them to flee out of their home, that is state of Mizoram, to neighboring Tripura. So that means this Bru Riang tribal community, it is settled in the refugee camps or relief camps, actually relief camps at the borders of Tripura and Mizoram for very long, and hence now they will be given the rehabilitation permanent status by March 31, as said by the Minister of State for Social Empowerment in the state of Tripura, right? So they will be given the permanent rehabilitation because these people fled from Mizoram to Tripura, hence these people will be given the proper rights of settlement. And so because there are so many things problems are there, that first and major issues related to the associated with the people who are living in the relief camps and other such on the humanitarian grounds, or a pity kind of grounds, it is the issue of identity. And with this issue of identity, all the issues like recognition, like rights to avail services like education, health, pension, insurance, and other social schemes, social sector schemes run by respective state governments or the central governments are not generally given, and they become the causes, or they are basically falling prey to the police atrocities sometimes, as we have seen in the case of Chakma refugees. So this identity is very much important, and that's why this permanent rehabilitation will bring them the identity and many other aspects related to the issue. So it's the rehabilitation, or they were staying in this area of relief camps at the border of Tripura and Mizoram, right? So the refugee camps in the Jampoi hills of Tripura, and now they will be given the permanent residence system. So this is about the this community of Bru Riang. So we should have an idea that what is going on and how the things are working in this context.